Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact reaction. This has been a long time coming. It's been like 3 weeks or something since I did a song from Genshin. I did the animation one a few weeks ago, but the songs have been waiting, and I needed something. I'm kind of coming off of a light sickness, so I'm like something a little bit easier to handle. And literally, Verse in the comments of my last Genshin song reaction was like, this is one that's a little bit easier to take in, and I'm like, cool, so I hope he's right. Without further ado, this is Nippy Bout, and I'm gonna see what this song is. Nippy Bout. I'm sorry, that was stupid. I'm so dumb. Woo! Woo! Oh, I loved that, like, just... I felt like I was being transported into another world. All right. The electronic edge. Ooh. Oh, it's not just an electronic edge. It just is. This is pretty rare for Genshin stuff, honestly. I like that little break for the synth. Yeah, I knew that was coming again. All right. This is definitely something that a little bit easier to digest than the last ones, that's for sure. There's so much movement with the drums. Man. Are we doing something else, or is this the end? Where are we going? We overdriving. Yo? Yo? Hey, yo, what the hell? Is it Siren? My goodness. Oh, not the halftime. Oh, that's filthy. You're gonna end on that? Really? Man. A little lo-fi for a second. This one was actually way more interesting than I thought it was going to be. It is easier to digest. But there is something I specifically want to talk about, so this might end up being longer than expected. All right, so not exactly an easy thing to figure out, but I got there, I think. I was trying to learn the relationships between all of these chords and keys that I was hearing in here, and the relationship especially between the first part of that drop, the very first drop, what that sounded like, and it sounded much more bright, uplifting, major scale. That is how it works, but the whole key is in a minor one, B minor to be specific, and the reason that that is specifically why I wanted to focus on this is because of what they kind of did for the second drop, that one that I got really excited about, because I realized that there was a shift there, and I think it might have been a whole key shift, but maybe not in the way that we were all expecting as listeners, and that's why it sounded so interesting to the ear. Because not only was it changing the key and that whole chord down, it also took B minor, brought it to B major, and then utilized the root chord of F sharp to be able to make that feel right during that transition. The entire second drop kind of roots itself in the B minor, using that F sharp as a transition right before, during that spot right before the siren hits, and it just helps move everything forward, and it just kind of stays in B minor. It doesn't really move around or anything. It just kind of locks itself on that specific chord and plays within that chord without moving around or really having too many transitions. So there's this whole relationship happening of like transitioning from what it was in the start, this very full chord, major chord bass. There was a D in there, an E in there, a B, B minor, of course, A was in there. And then A kind of finds itself being useful again in the second drop as a transitional chord. But that's kind of what's neat with that, is that in order to get to that point, they had to utilize that F sharp in order to get there, because F sharp technically shouldn't be in this relationship with the rest of these chords within themselves. That's why I think that they had to do that transition for the whole key in order to change it, because it should be F sharp minor, not F sharp major, and it was F sharp major that was in this song. So that's why I was like, whoa, that's different. And I had to figure out why. I'm not fully sure, as I always do disclaim. I'm not a professional with a bunch of music theory experience. I don't have any like official training technically. It's all stuff that I'm just working out of the general context of music and trying to decipher things and pick it apart on my own time. And I'm not sure how close I am, but that feels like what's happening here. The fact that the entire first drop and most of the first part of the song is pretty much locked into that B minor, and that's just okay, cool, fantastic. But then when it wants to do something different, it had to basically turn itself completely at a 180, switch the key to then bring it back. And then once they brought it back and dropped that B minor back in there, it felt so much heavier because we had to transition back from a key change. So there's just a lot of movement on this song, not to mention following it up with that halftime to slow things down and then just kind of let it breathe a little bit at the very end there. This song was way more than I was expecting when it came to like the music theory stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be the same when like Verse sees this video and he's like, man, I requested that thinking it wouldn't be that impressive. But this is just a cool relationship between these keys that really sold this song extraordinarily well. If they had left it in that one key the whole time, you wouldn't have gotten that really heavy drop back into it when it hit that second drop. And that is very important for making songs feel organic and moving through things. You have to be able to be willing to shift things around and take advantage of those chord relationships, and sometimes borrow chords from different keys that aren't even in the original song in order to make things feel like they're kind of sliding between, in order to reintroduce a concept that you've already tread over, but just in a different way. The way that that second drop was handled was completely unique to how the first one was handled. And those types of relationships are why I love music so much. It's just neat to see it, and I love to hear these sorts of really technical thoughts in songs. It can be as simple when you're a composer as just, ooh, that sounded cool, let's go with that. Or it can be as complex as, I want to specifically do this with this song. I have a feeling that this was probably just, this worked, this felt good, and that's what the drop was. But sometimes people are that good with music and they just know exactly what they're going for. And knowing the composers of Genshin, this might have been very well a totally purposeful choice and a totally calculated move. And if so, even bigger props. But even if it's just, that's cool, sometimes that's all you need. But anyway, I think that's all I am going to say on this one. Otherwise, I will keep going forever. So thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you, Verse, for throwing this into the queue, and everyone. There was like 90 of you that voted this one up, for voting it up so I could hear it, because that was a surprising trip down the music theory rabbit hole. And I did learn quite a bit about this relationship between these chords, and I hope all of you did too. But anyway, if you like this video and you want to request something, by all means, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best. Definitely within a month, unlike this past one. And otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!